Morning everyone, hopefully someone might join in a second. The next instalment of our hunts, so this one, as you've seen the title, 2p or not 2p, so similar to the one we done with the pennies, but picking out those possibly more valuable 2p's. So those years that are more difficult to come by, potentially may retail at a higher price. We've got 4 people that have joined, which is good news. 4 people joined a bit quicker than we had before, so thank you very much. Perhaps if you can put some kind of comment in there so we know who's about and we can start responding to you, and we'll then get on with having a look at what we can show you about the 2p's. So John's going to do the flipping through the coins today, and I'm going to give a few bits of detail and background and potential some prices. Well then, John, if we start off, we'll have a look. So each one will show you what year it is. We'll have a look.
2005.
So 2005, there was 280 million in 2005. It's one of the Great British Coin Hunt. Obviously we're on that channel, so thank you to Ian for the opportunity to do this. That would retail at the pound and the penny, so similar to the 1 penny situation. The base price that Ian sells for on the Great British Coin Hunt is a pound and a penny, but then there are certain years which will attract a slightly higher retail price. And of course, if you try to list them, then you might get a little bit back to pay for your whole bag and more besides. Hello Steve, thanks for your comment, thanks for joining in. So crack on, Ginger.
1994.
So 1994 is 531 million. That's another one that's at the base of the core cost in terms of retail value. Worth reiterating, as Ian always mentions, any coin, whatever year, whatever denomination, potentially someone wants it. So if you get something that's of a decent quality that you might want to look to list and to sell, then you can do it. And there'll be someone out there, if you wait around, you'll get the right price for it.
We've then got a 1993.
In 1993, 235 million, pound and a penny in terms of a retail. So hopefully as we go through, we'll pick out 1 or 2 little gems, some that are worth a bit more than the core value, and let you know why that is.
We've then got 1980.
So 1980 is 408 million. So all of these ones so far.
Another 1993.
1993, yeah, 235 million. Please show the front one of them, John. So all of these ones so far have got the feathers design, which was the original design. And again, that changed in 2008. And hopefully when we'll come across the next few, we'll be able to show you the next design, the shield design.
There we go, first shield.
First shield.
2014.
Excellent. So 2014, there's 247 million of those. That is one that's a core retail value, pound and a penny on the Great British Coin Hunt.
Another shield from 2008.
So 2008 is the year that it changed. That 2008 shield, again core value, 242 million of those. On that year, if you find the feathers one, that's one of the ones that is potentially a little bit more valuable. Only 10.6 million in 2008 of the feathers coin. So that one is one of the real gems to look for and to find.
And we've got 1995.
324 million.
2004.
Can you show the other side as well, John? 2004 is 356 million. All of these numbers may seem quite huge, but when you think that in some years there's very nearly 1.5 billion being made, like there was in the first year in 1971, then you realise that it's not quite so many all the time.
And we've got 1998.
Okay, so in 1998 we've got something to look for, because in that year you've got two different coins. You've got a magnetic coin and a non-magnetic coin. So can we just have a look, John, and see, you've got a little bit on the side of your pad, is that magnetic or not?
Yep, it's magnetic.
So that's a magnetic. So the magnetic coin is a core value in terms of potential retail price. If you find one that's non-magnetic, then that's one, again, that is a little bit rarer and potentially retails for a bit more. That one at the moment on the Great British Coin Hunt is listed at £1.95, so you can see it's nearly twice the price. One of those, even if you're selling it at less than that, could pay for your whole bag.
And we've got another 2014 Shield.
So 2014, 247 million. Again, when you look at these ones, you find something like that. That's a really nice quality coin. So if you are looking at listing and selling, now if you saw that as your picture on a listing, I'm sure you'd be quite happy that that's one that you would want to potentially buy because of the quality and the condition it's in. This is a purely circulated bag. Hi Matt, thanks for joining in. Purely from a circulated bag, just cashed from the bank. So it's really good to find something as good a quality as that if you're potentially looking to list these up. We've got 7 people in now. So we're already up on what we had when we'd done the penny parade, which is nice to see. So thank you very much for joining in. That last day, Matt, was 2014. So it is only 5 years old, but that is looking like it's not been around too many pockets.
So next we've got a 1981.
1981, there was 353 million of those. That's one that's just a core value. 8 viewers now, Steve, thanks for putting that up. Yeah, I'm still getting used to what's coming up on the screens and what I can read and such like. Hence this practice, really, ready for the coin-a-thon as well.
And we've also got a 1979.
So 1979, 260 million of those ones. So Matt needs 72, 3 and 4, 82, 3 and 4. Yeah, I think I probably know why you need those, Matt, because they're the years where they're proof years and they're only found in sets. So they will be the ones that if you do find those, they will be very significantly increased value. On Great British Coin Hunt, for example, those years are sold at £14.95. And you would not normally expect to find them in a bag of change or in your pocket. But if you're very, very lucky, then you may well do.
We've got one of the first ones from 1971.
Yeah, 1.45 billion produced in that first year in 1971. Hi Disney. Yeah, this is Richard and John, RJ Coins. It's a bit of a practice, our second practice ahead of the coin-a-thon, and we're doing some 2p's today. We've done some pennies the other day, and we're just showing, similar to what Bungle does with his 10p's, where you can pick out those years that potentially you may be able to list up and sell yourselves for a little bit more. So it's a bit of a, yeah, as Steve just put, a bit of an education and a bit of a practice for us ahead of the coin-a-thon as well. We're, I think, due on for midnight for 3 or 4 hours. I was thinking it's 3 hours, but then of course the clocks go back, don't they? So we're going to get 4 hours there, I think, with the clocks going back, which John has just realised and rolled his eyes. Excellent. Let's have a look at the next one then, John.
So we've got a 2007.
2007, 254 million of those. Matt, the coin-a-thon this coming weekend from midday on Saturday the 26th through till midday on Sunday the 27th, there'll be various CJs, as Ian has dubbed us, through that whole 24 hours, or indeed 25 hours it's effectively going to be. Good morning, Ian.
We've got another 2007 as well.
2007. So 254 million of those. Yeah, so we're providing, I think, 4 hours content from midnight. So we'll be flipping through a few coins. There'll be various auction items, etc., because it is aimed to be a charity event. There's a charity in Middlesbrough. As a thank you to the Mayor of Middlesbrough, who really helped bungle out with the circulation of the 2019 Peter Rabbit as part of the Great British Coin Hunts stunt to put 400 into circulation. And that's what it's about. It's about saying thank you and doing something for Middlesbrough for the extra effort they put in to promote that. What's the next one then, John?
We've got 1994.
1994. So again, 235 million of those. Something that's one of the core base value in terms of retail value. As ever, worth reiterating, any coin though, if someone wants it, if you've got it listed, it may well go, and that will pay for your whole bag.
And then we've got a 2000.
Year 2000, so 536 million of those in the year 2000. Thanks, Steve, for putting up a few details there as well.
And we've got another one from 1981.
1981 there, so 153 million of those. We've already found a couple of those ones.
We've got one from 1999.
1999, 353 million of those. So far we haven't found too many that are in fantastic condition. Just that one from 14 really, but
We've got another shield. It's from 2011.
2011, yeah, 144 million of those.
And another shield from 2015.
To 2015, so you'd expect that to be in a little bit better condition, and it certainly is. So similar to the 2014 one we found, that is certainly one that I would feel comfortable looking to list up, and if someone got that, they'd be very pleased in terms of the condition, and they're much more likely to actually pay you money if they're getting something like that, as opposed to if you're trying to sell something like that, which no one's going to want for a date run, etc. (2015), yeah, Matt, you mentioned about the portrait change in 2015. So I must admit that is something that I know there's the two, but I always get them confused as to which one's which. So let's have a look. So we've got the 2014 and the 2015. So the 14 would be the fourth portrait. So that means that this is also the fourth portrait. They look the same to me.
Then we've got one from 1987.
Hello Sherry Ward and Annie Sue. 1987 there. 218 million of those. So something that's just a core value in terms of retail.
We've got a very dirty one. I can't even tell what year it's from.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be looking to sell that one, that's for sure. See if I can work out what it is. No, that is absolutely covered. You haven't got a chance of looking at what that one is. Thank you, Matt. So the 5th portrait has the dangly earrings. So that's the easy one to remember that by.
So we've got another one from 1981.
1981, which was 353 million of those produced.
And we've then got one from 1996.
1996, 296 million of those.
We've got one from 2010.
2010.
Another Shield.
Yep, so just 100 million of those, but with it being 2010, it's not something that would go above the core retail price. Certainly in terms of what Ian at the Great British Coin Hunt potentially sells them for.
We've got another Shield from 2014.
So a bit of a theme here that 2014 seems to be in good condition. That one again looks very nice. These are all UK 2Ps, unless we're lucky enough to find something that's a territories within the pound or two that we're going to look to search through today. Yeah, so Sherry, all UK 2Ps. We're just going through to try and pick out those ones which have a little bit more appeal if someone's looking to potentially list them and sell them, and if you're looking to complete date runs, etc. Give you an idea of the ones that are a little bit more valuable or a little bit different.
So then we've got a 1988.
1988. So that's 420 million of those ones.
And another 1971.
Thank you very much, Sherry. 1971, which was the original year, so 1.45 billion of those went into the circulation in that initial circulation there. Just seeing Steve's comment there around the subscriptions on the Great British Coin Hunt going up to comfortably above the 3,000 mark now, so that is a real fantastic effort. If you haven't already subscribed to Great British Coin Hunt, then please do so. And also, if you look to go across to our channel, RJ Coins, and subscribe to us, that would be much appreciated as well. And check out some of our other content.
So then we've got a 1995.
1995 is 124 million, so it's one of the lower figures in terms of the mintages, but not something that increases its value at this stage on that one. Yeah, in terms of what you might find on our site, we do some 50p hunts for an album that John's trying to fill up in terms of the variants there for since 97 through till current day. We've also got the 10 2019 Peter Rabbit circulation videos, where I was one of the volunteers for the Great British Coin Hunt in terms of that stunt. Looking forward hopefully to being involved in the next stage with the Gruffalo. And there's also on there one hunt around old round pounds. So if that's something in terms of old coins that interests you, I've got a hunt there around an album that I have of old round pounds, and some that I went through in terms of showing the different variants right through whilst they were still in circulation.
So then we've got another Shield from 2011.
2011, 144 million of those.
And then another one from 2014.
2014, so that one isn't quite so nice. You come back just a little bit, John, don't you? But certainly a popular year that, in terms of what we've found. 247 million of them, I suppose, as they're relatively new. That's why we might be seeing a few more of them, and why they're a core value in terms of retail price as well.
So then we've got a 1996.
1996, 296 million of those minted in that year.
And we've got another pretty dirty one from 2001.
2001, so the 551 million in 2001. In terms of what we're using to record this, we've literally just got an iPad propped up at the other side of the table. We have been on the first penny hunt, we recorded the hunt as well for our own channel on just an iPhone as well. Unfortunately, when we've hit that up today, it's died on us, so we won't have this to go up on our own channel straight away unless we can find some other way of copying this particular recording. But yeah, it's just an iPad propped up the other side of the table. This is how we do our hunts at the moment. So very grassroots. We've only been hunting and showing the videos, or only showing the videos for a few weeks, although we've been hunting for a little while together. And there we go.
So then we've got one from 1997.
1997, 496 million of those. Hello, Hannah. Yeah, I've got a jar which I just chuck all of ours into, to be honest. But it's worth having a quick look through, particularly for these dates. So hopefully we might find one or two of these different key dates as we go through, to show the ones that are a little bit more juicy in terms of what you might be able to list them for if you are looking to sell them.
We've then got another one from 1994.
1994, 531 million of those.
And then one from 1985.
1985, 107 million. So again, one of the lower mintage years, but not a year that potentially attracts a greater, higher retail value.
We've then got one from 2006.
2006, 170 million of those. Thanks, Steve. Steve's just put up a couple of notes here, and yeah, very much matches my little sheet that I'm using as a crib sheet. I don't know whether you can see that. You've got certain years worth looking for, in particular 72, 73, 74, 82, 83 and 84, which weren't circulated years, they're set years. Retail value in terms of that on the Great British Continent, 14.95, so you can see quite significant value. If you were to be lucky enough to find one of those in your change or in a little hunt such as this, then that's a real score. And as Steve's also mentioned there, you've got the change year, where it went from the feathers design to the shield design in 2008. And if you find that feathers 2008, then that's just 10.6 million of those minted, which is very, very low, even for and against some of these other low years. And that one potentially retail price 4.95. So certainly, even if you're looking to sell that at a different price, however you might list it, it's going to pay for your whole bag and more besides.
So then we've got another quite shiny one from 2014.
So 2014 seems to be a good quality year in terms of how they look.
And then we've got one from 1993.
1993, 235 million of those. The other year that Dragon Lord Steve has listed there is the 2013 Shield. Yeah, only 40 million in 2013. Retail listing £2.95 on that. So again, worth looking out for. Not that old. Certainly something that might still be out there in good condition.
So then we've got a 2008 Shield.
2008 Shield. So that one, there was 242 million minted. So only a core value on that one. On that year that it changed design.
And then we've got another one 1971.
1971, the original year, 1.45 billion. You still expect to find a tremendous amount of those about. I suppose if you did find one of those in a really good condition, then that is something that could be a bit more valuable, but it's likely to be that it looks very much like that, unless it's from a set.
So then we've got one from 2004.
2004, 356 million in 2004.
And then another one from 2001.
2001, 551 million. So up to 12, 13 people looking in. It'd be interesting to hear from you. Do you keep date runs of all the different denominations? So has anybody else gone through and looked to pick out one of every year for their collection? Is that something that people do, of those that are watching?
We've then got another 2008 Shield.
So 2008 Shield, so the more common one of the changeover year.
And then a 1994 Feathers.
531 million. So Hannah certainly does that and keeps her date run. Do you have a full date run of 2Ps, Hannah?
And we've got another 1971 coin.
1971. Yeah, and on the 50Ps, yeah. I mean, I've gone through and tried to get a date run through of everything, each denomination right through from the penny up to the £2. Missing still just a few, mostly those ones where they're the proof years, just in sets, etc. But gradually trying to fill in the gaps. Made a little purchase last night from the Great British Coin Hunt actually to fill in gaps in the old large 10Ps and 5Ps in terms of that.
And then we've got another fairly shiny one, but this time from 2012.
2012. So only 68 million in 2012. So that's probably one, given again relatively low mintage, reasonable condition, that we would put to the side.
And then last one in this bag is a 2000.
Just back a bit, John. 2000. So 536 million of those. So that's all from that bag. Just seeing a little note for me in there pop up on the comments around the non-magnetic coins. That before 1992 there were non-magnetic coins, and they're gradually being taken out of the circulation from the Royal Mint to be melted down because of the copper content. So I've mentioned around that in terms of the 1998 year, but I know that there has been other year dates that I've come across that are non-magnetic. I didn't think anything about it particularly in terms of it being greater cost in terms of the production materials, and therefore something that Royal Mint might take out of circulation and will become rarer and rarer. So worth a little check. We showed you that a little bit earlier on in terms of just on the corner of John's iPad, where you can easily find out whether they're magnetic or not. So you just get that little pull on it and you can see that it's magnetic. John's going to try and be clever and stand one up.
Good last.
Never mind, never mind. Yes, thanks for that, Steve. It is something a little bit different. That's also why I've done the round pound hunt as one of my first uploads, just so it's something a little bit different. We have got a second bag, so we're going to go through those. We'll sort out what we've gone through here a little bit later in terms of anything that we may look to keep. Yeah, it's not really something you think about, is it, Steve, around them not being coppers anymore. It's something that we call them. We've found some coppers in our pocket, but as you say, they're not anymore. They are just plated and steel cores.
So we're starting off with a 1996.
296 million of those.
And then we've got a 2003.
2003. 260 million of those. Just seen Sherry Ward's comment, melted down. Oh no. Yeah, it does seem a little bit counterintuitive to be destroying coins when people are interested in them and want to find them and keep them, particularly when they are from 10, 20 years ago, etc. and beyond, and they're never going to be around again if they are destroyed.
Now we've got a 1975.
1975, 145 million of those. Again, the only one really through that early part of the 70s that isn't considered a little bit more than the core value. After the first initial 1971 mintage.
And then a 1978.
And a 1978. 190 million of those. Oh, hello, Sherry. I didn't realise that you were in the US. And that makes sense now as to why you asked what country the coins were from at the very beginning. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
So next we've got a 1980 coin.
1980, 408 million of those. I'm just going to show this bag. I kept the bag from the first live stream, and we've got some light coming in the back door here, which is making it a bit difficult. So these are the 100 pennies that I went through a couple of days ago for that first live stream. And I have put up on Facebook if someone would like one of the pennies from my first ever live stream, hosted thanks to the Great British Coin Hunt, and if they contact me via Facebook, RJ Coins, you'll find it under, then potentially I can provide you with a penny from that first live stream in line with Ian's idea around authenticity, letters of provenance, certificate of authentication. I'm certainly happy to put a little note in with it to confirm it came from that very first live stream that we done. Indeed, yeah, I've just seen Sherry says it doesn't have Facebook. At the moment, because I'm relatively new to the videos, etc., I haven't set up any other emails, addresses, etc. In terms of that.
Then we've got another coin from 1971.
1971, the original year that the tuppence was minted, 1.45 billion.
And then another from 1999.
1999 had 353 million.
Then we've got another dirty one from 1993.
Yeah, that's horrible. I take it, Steve, that you are suggesting that we should be able to scrap them and melt them down ourselves, because obviously as a Dragon Lord you'd be able to do that, whereas most of us wouldn't have the facilities and the heat available to do it. But I'm sure that you've got a few tethered up out in your back garden, obviously, and that's why you could manage it.
So we've got a 2009 shield.
2009 shield. 150 million of those. Yeah, Sherry, I've seen a few videos, Sherry, around the cents and some of the, is it pre-1964 nickels and dimes, etc., and quarters, around the silver content as well.
And then we've got a 1990.
1990, 204 million.
We've then got another 2001.
2001, there's 551 million of those produced in that year. Again, considering it's now 18 years old, that's not in too bad a condition. One or two little spots on it, but not too bad.
We've then got a 1979.
1979, 260 million of those minted. So it's 1982 sherry for the cents, which are copper. I see what you mean. But was it a little bit earlier than that in terms of the silver content on the other coins in the US? For some reason, I do have 1964 in my head around the silver content on the other coins.
We've then got one from 1988.
1988, 420 million of those. Yeah, Hannah's just put up as well around potentially the 1s and 2p's being scrapped. I know that was certainly an idea that was considered. Believe that it's been certainly put on hold at the moment. There will, of course, I'm sure, come a time when they may become irrelevant. But it'll be quite sad, really, because it's quite an iconic part of our financial system in terms of the penny, particularly, I suppose. So I wouldn't like to see that change and that happen. But it may be inevitable, I suppose. Thank you, Sherry. Yeah, thank you for confirming that 64 is right for the silver content on the US coins.
So then we've got 1981.
1981, which is 353 million of those. It'd be quite nice if we could find an 82, 3 or 4.
And another 1981.
1981 again. As we mentioned, the 82, 3 and 4 are the years that weren't put into circulation with any general mintage, just in sets. So if you find one of those, it is particularly valuable.
And then we've got 1986.
1986, 168 million of those. One of the slightly lower years, but just a standard sort of retail value.
We've got 2004.
2004. So that one looks in pretty good condition as well for being 15 years old. There's still the old feathers design. It's quite nice. There might be a few of these that I might double check my date run and see if there's anything better to replace the ones I've got in there currently with.
So then we've got a 1987.
1987. 218 million of those minted in that year.
And then 2001.
2001, 551 million of those.
We've then got another shield from 2015.
2015, so let's have a look to see if we can... Where have I put the other one? There we go. So this is the 2015 that we found from the first bag. And then we have the one we've just found in this bag. Got a few problems with the light here. And Matt was mentioning about the dangly earrings on the change of the portrait that happened in that year. So you can see there the earring dangling down a bit more. As opposed to the fourth portrait one, slightly rounder head on that one as well, and the earring not dangling down. See if we can get those together. There we go. So that was the change of portrait that happened in 2015. Nice to be able to show you that. Something a little bit different as well.
Then we've got a 2005.
2005, 280 million. Very similar to Canada's coins. I suppose that's because the Queen is on those coins, and therefore they're going to be, although they'll have their own portraits on there, it's only going to be a variation on that theme.
We've then got a 1993.
1993, 235 million of those. Yep, thanks for that, Matt. Around just confirming the difference in the fourth portrait and the fifth portrait of the Queen that changed in the 2015. So in that year there was only 86 million produced with the old fourth portrait, as opposed to 139 million with the fifth portrait.
Then we've got a 1997.
1997 was 496 million produced.
And then a 2011.
2011 was 144 million, so a little bit less than many years. I thought that one was going to be one that looked a little bit better condition as well, but there's a few blemishes on that one after all.
So then we've got one from 1986.
1986 is 168 million.
And then another one from 2003.
2003 was at 260 million. Certainly, Nanny Sue, I will look to go through the coins again around which ones to potentially look out for.
Then we've got one from 1997.
1997, 496 million. In fact, I can do that now for you, Nanny Sue, because what we were looking for is there's certain years with either a slightly lower mintage or that might be a little bit more desirable to get hold of, difficult to get hold of. The big ones are 72, 3 and 4, along with 82, 3 and 4. Because they're only produced in sets, you're very unlikely to find them in a bag of change like this or in your pocket. And therefore, if you're looking to complete your date run with those years, it's going to be a little bit more expensive. So if you do find one, you're very, very lucky. On the Great British Coin Hunt, they retail at £14.95. So you can see there, they really are quite a special find if you do get one. You're then looking at a couple of years in the middle of the 70s at 1976 and 1977, which have a higher retail value potentially there. So 1976, Ian retails those on the Great British Coin Hunt at £2.95 and 1977 at £1.95. Now all the other years which are not mentioned as something a little bit more special to look for are listed at £1 and a penny. So you can see there 2 and 3 times the retail value. As I mentioned at the start as well, ultimately if someone wants that year for their date run, then it doesn't matter how many are minted. If it's in a decent condition, it's something that someone might want to look to buy. Hence the £1 and a penny is the core price for the listing. We've also got the 1998 particularly there, and we mentioned about the magnetic and non-magnetic. In that year, if you find one that's non-magnetic, then that's listed at £1.95. The next year to look out for is the 2008, and that's because of the change from the feathers design. So that was the original feathers design, and in 2008 it changed from that feathers design to what is the familiar shield, which still exists now. And in 2008 there were only 10.6 million of the feathers design produced before it changed to the shield, and then there was another 242 million of the shield produced in that year. So retail listing on the feathers design for 2008 is £4.95. Now you will still find those. They are something that you will find in a bag of change. I did find a 2008 feathers in what I had in one of my little jars, which I've just chucked change into. We went through it a couple of weeks ago and I found the 2008 feathers in there, so they are about. And then you've got a year of 2013 as well, so only 6 years old, but in that particular year there were just 40 million minted, so very, very low in terms of the numbers that we're looking at here. And that one lists for a retail of £2.95 on the Great British Coin Hunt. So if you are looking through and looking to list them, they are the ones that will pick out a little bit, something that's a little bit more special and might be a bit more sought after. What's the next one we've got, John?
So then we've got a 2007.
2007, 254 million of those.
And then a 2004.
And a 2004, 356 million of those.
Then we've got a 1980.
1980 there. 408 million in 1980 were minted. Thank you very much, Nanny Sue. That's no problem at all. That's very much part of what this is. This is meant to be a bit of a educational update, very much in line with what Bungle is doing with his 10p's. So have a look at Bungle Collects Coins as well. Someone that I've followed his videos for many months, and he is the partner for the Great British Coin Hunt in the next step of the stunts of releasing the non-circulated coins. So Peter Rabbit 2019 is out there. Soon to start is the Gruffalo, and Bungle Collects Coins is the partner with the Great British Coin Hunt on that next stage that is happening very, very soon. So take a look at Bungle Collects Coins as well as going across, and have a look at our channel of RJ Coins. That'd be much appreciated.
And then we've got 1977.
1977, so this is one of those years that we were talking about, 109 million, and the retail listing for that is £1.95, so nearly twice the amount of all of the core years. So that's one that we'd be putting aside and thinking, is that something that's a little bit more popular? And if we did decide to list them, might attract some more interest.
And then we've got another 2004.
2004 had 356 million minted.
And then we've got another 1971.
1971, so the original year of the minting of the new 2p. So again, we'll show on that actually, we'll see what you've got on there. You can probably see is it says new pence, because it was at that time new. So for the first few years of the minting of tuppence, it said new pence. When you get to later years, it changed to show 2p as opposed to new pence. From memory, I think that was in 1983. Hopefully someone might be able to confirm that. There were some sets produced in 1983 that had the different wording on, that still had new pence, even though it was 1983, and should have said 2p, but they were produced in sets only. And again, they are extremely valuable.
So then we've got 1978.
1978, 190 million of those. So if you do find 1983 that says new pence, it has been broken out of a set, and that has a significant value. I think there's silly money paid for some of those. Again, someone on might be able to put down something around what sort of value they've seen that those go for.
And then we've got a 1987.
1987, 218 million. Yes, Nanny, so I did do the pennies. I've done that a couple of days ago. That was our first practice ahead of the coinathon that's coming up this weekend. So worth another plug around the coinathon. The Great British Coin Hunt is doing a 24-hour coinathon. There'll be various CJs on that through that time. Some doing hunts, some doing other content. Auctions going on all around a charity, and that is supporting a charity in Middlesbrough as a thank you around what Bungle did with the 2019 Peter Rabbit circulation and the help he got from the Mayor of Middlesbrough, which was fantastic in terms of how it raised the profile of that particular stunt for the Great British Coin Hunt.
So then we've got a 1981.
1981, 353 million of those.
And then a 1971.
1971 from the original year of minting of the 2 pence, 1.45 billion produced in that initial year.
And then we've got a 2001.
2001 is 551 million produced in that year.
So then we've got a 1996.
1996 was 296 million. So Nanny Sue's going to watch the pennies one, and she's going to join the coinathon and looking forward to the Gruffalo.
And then we've got a 2003.
2003 is 260 million.
And then another 1981.
1981 was at 353 million.
And then a 1994.
In 1994, there were 531 million.
Then we've got 1997.
And in 1997, there's 496 million minted. So all of these ones in the last few are sort of core values in terms of retail value with the Great British Coin Hunt. But as ever, if it's something that someone wants and you've got it listed and it's of reasonable quality, then it could pay for your whole bag.
And then we've got another 1975.
1975, 145 million of those, another one at the sort of core value in terms of retail position.
And then 2000.
One from the year 2000, 536 million of those minted in that particular year.
Then we've got another shield.
And what
from
year?
2015.
2015, so we can see on that then about the portrait. So has it got the dangly earrings or has it got the stud earring? So that was a dangly, so that's a 5th portrait. Matt said about the 83 error, I believe that's a 2p, where the new pence and 2 pence was confused in the sets, or certain sets.
We've then got another 2001.
So 2001, 551 million of those.
And then a 1995.
1995. Just 124 million minted in that year, which is quite low. It's one of the lower years, but not one that potentially attracts a greater value than the core value.
We've then got a 1999.
1999 is at 353 million.
And then for the last one,
thank you, Matt, for checking that.
We've got a 2004.
And the 2004 is our last one. So 2004 is 356 million. Okay, not too bad considering that's 15 years old. Reasonable condition. One or two little spots on there, unfortunately. I don't like to clean coins up particularly because you take that top lacquer of the luster off, and most people that are collecting wouldn't want something that is cleaned up. If you did, then I would say be honest about it, and if it's clean, say it's cleaned, because if someone doesn't want it that way, they will be able to tell. And even if it's a 2p, it's just being fair to someone, really. Thank you, Sherry, for that, and I'm glad you have enjoyed it. And yeah, you have a good day as well. So I'm just going to finish off by saying it. So you can see some of my pennies in there on that side, but there, this is my date run of 2p's, so you can see there a couple of little gaps on that first page, and that is because of the years 72, 73 and 74, those proof years. So not something you are going to find in your change unless you're extremely lucky. And now what I'll be looking to go to the Great British Coin Hunt at some point in the future and pick up to fill in those gaps. So yeah, noticeable to see as well that the colour change even through from that second page, as you get a much better quality of coin year by year. You'll then notice a few gaps again there because of the coins at 80, and then I've got the change of design and the shields to the current day. Morning, Lighty, thanks for joining. We're 2 or 3 minutes away from wrapping up, actually, Lighty, because obviously we're doing it around about an hour. I've gone through 2p's today. Hopefully you may have seen my penny video that I've done a couple of days ago. So we've done the same with 2p's. And we've just been looking at those years that are a little bit more desirable, potentially could retail at a slightly higher value if you are looking to list them. I suppose it's worth running through a couple of items like that and a couple of things to look for. So we've mentioned around 2015, so you've got the shield on 2015. Worth looking out for the change of portrait in that year. And as Matt pointed out, thank you to that, Matt, around the fact that the dangly earrings are the 5th portrait and the stud earrings are their 4th portrait. Because we've just thrown the coins to the side here, and we'll have another look through later, I've mixed up a couple of the ones that I was going to show around the rarer years, so I'll just run through them. So when we were looking at those, we were looking for those rarer years that might be at slightly greater value. So aside from the proof years, 72, 3 and 4, and 82, 3 and 4, then we're also looking at 76 being a higher retail value, potentially £2.95 as opposed to the core listing at £1 and a penny. 1977, £1.95 as a retail listing. And then to look out for some of those non-magnetic coins from pre-92, and also in 1998 there is a non-magnetic, put my teeth in there, a non-magnetic version of that feathers coin, and that one would potentially retail at £1.95 on the Great British Coin Hunt. Really nice one to look out for, and possibly one that is something that is realistic to find, even though it was only minted at 10.6 million, is the 2008 Feathers design. So we've got that original Feathers design, and in 2008 it changed from that to the Shield, and there was only 10.6 million of the Feathers design minted. Therefore it is significantly scarcer than many of them, and it is something worth looking for. Retails at £4.95. And there's also there in 2013 is the last one of potential increased retail value, only 40 million minted, and therefore retails at £2.95. Thank you, Lighty. Yeah, put a YouTube link up there for our channel, RJ Coins. That would be great if anybody would go across and have a look at that and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. I hope you have all enjoyed it. We are sort of going to wrap it up now. We've gone to our hour. I'm sure soon people will be looking at seeing who's tuning in for the 12 till 5 standard live stream. This is something a little bit different. Ian has asked us to produce something that's a bit different and just do some standard hunts. It may well be that in the future we do actually live stream some of our 50p hunts as part of this to add some content and some hours to the Great British Coin Hunt YouTube, as well as our own, and having that opportunity to showcase who we are and what we do is much appreciated in terms of that from Ian. So do go across to RJ Coins, do go across to Lighty Collects, of course, and Bungle Collects Coins, as well as taking a look at the Great British Coin Hunt. I very much hope that you have found this useful and interesting, and that you've enjoyed it, and hopefully we'll catch you very, very soon. Oh, Matt just put up a comment on there. 2008. So before we go, yeah, the 2008 is where they changed the design from the Feathers design to the Shield design. And because of that, there was only 10.6 million of the Feathers design produced and minted in that year, and that's where it has the greater value. Yeah, in terms of, yeah, got another question from Matt. We'll keep going if we've got a question to go on that. Going live, you need to have a certain number of subscribers, and that's why we're being hosted by the Great British Coin Hunt. Because the Great British Coin Hunt have over 3,000 subscribers, they can do that, and we're joining and piggybacking on that. And Lighty's just giving you a few details about how to tap on the various icons, potentially do it. Yeah, so look for the feather, Hannah. That's the one. 2008 Feathers is the one that is the juicy one, and potentially retails at a very significant higher value. And Lighty's just putting up there as well a link to Dragon Lord Steve Fraser and his YouTube. So if you do want to go and have a look at what we're producing as CJs on our own channels, then that would be much appreciated as well. I'm glad you found it useful, Hannah, and you've got a couple of tips there, and hopefully you'll find a few and make a little bit as well. And there's Hannah's link that Lighty's just put up. So I'll keep the stream going at the moment whilst we've got a couple of links coming up, rather than just close it down. And also just a reminder, there is another hunt on there from the pennies that I done a couple of days ago. I have kept all the pennies under the RJ Coins Facebook. There's a post on that and a link on that. And if you did want to own one of the pennies from our very first live stream, then do go across to RJ Coins Facebook, get in touch, and we can arrange something for you with a little letter of authenticity as well. That's no problem, Lighty. That's great, Warren. That's no problem at all. It's very useful to have those on there. with the way I'm doing it, I've not really got the facility to load my links, etc., without messing up the tech that we've got. Thank you for joining us, Matt. It's been great for your involvement as well and going through and checking a few of those details. Much appreciated. Thank you for joining us. The 1p, Hannah, I done an hour a couple of days ago, similar thing to what I've done today, but for the pennies. So if you go back on the Great British Coin Hunt content, you'll be able to see that my first live stream from Monday was a similar effort of going through the 1 pennies. And I do, yeah, that particular one is also uploaded on my channel, on our channel, the RJ Coins, in 2 separate parts. Unfortunately, this 2p one may not be able to go to our channel because we had issues with our second recording device of getting that on. But yeah, go across to RJ Coins. The link is a little bit above in the chat from Lighty, and you'll be able to see there the 1p video, which is very similar format in terms of picking out those coins which are a little bit more desirable and could potentially be listed at a slightly greater price and earn you a bit of money. Thank you, Hannah. That would be great. So we are going to wrap that up now and finish for today, and we'll catch you all very, very soon on the various other live streams, and if not before then, on the Coinathon at the weekend. Thank you very much.